Hey, which of your friends are coming tonight?
Oh, I don't know, not Jessa.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. That is such fucking bullshit.
I just spend all my time trying not to sink to their level, which is really hard. When I saw them last, I said, "Good day, sirs and misses," like I was a fucking newsie.
Good for you. I had a friend who stole my boyfriend once, Dale. He was such a hunk, captain of the debate team. And then Cadence, this math major bitch, she started sleeping with him when I went home for Great Aunt Bibbs' funeral. Can you imagine? I'm already mourning Bibbs and then this. But you know what?
What?
2 years later, she steps in front of a car freak accident and she's dead. Now, I'm not saying that's gonna happen to Jessa, but I'm also saying I hope it does for your sake. It freed me from so much anger that probably would have killed me.
And then Dale wanted you again.
I didn't even think of that. I was just so happy Cadence was dead.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We are just two boys watching HBO's Girls. We are your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we are finishing off Season 5. Season 5, Episode 10. Overall, this is Episode 52. It's titled I Love You, Baby. Directed by Jenny Connor, written by Judd Apatow, Lena Dunham, and Jenny Connor. The original air date was April 17th, 2016, to an audience of 512,000 people, 0.512. This episode aired the same day as the last episode. Yeah, so you got any? I think that we have a correction from the last episode, right?
It was pointed out to us by one of our listeners. Lisa, pointed out, which is pretty obvious for most people listening to last episode, is that I was pretty wrong about where they were at the last scene of last episode. Her and Tali. I was confused.
We were definitely a little confused.
I, for some reason, thought they went to Tali's place, but they're clearly in Hannah's place. I think my confusion stemmed from the fact that, I guess when they dropped off their bikes, I guess I just didn't hear her say, "Oh, I'm at my place, Hannah." But secondly, I thought, wouldn't she be running into them all the time if they live right downstairs? That Hannah would be running into Adam and Jessa more.
So I heard the "This is me" when they dropped off their bikes. Mm-hmm. I thought it was Tali saying that. So that's where my confusion came from.
I think that's.
But then I was like, oh, yeah, and then they were walking down the stairs and they bump into Adam and Jessa, and I was like, wait, is this Hannah's apartment? Were they there the whole time? So thank you for that correction, Lisa, right?
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah. I was so confused. I thought it was extra funny if Tali lived above Adam's place, because I thought that would just make the irony of that situation funnier. But no. I guess they were bringing groceries over to Laird and the baby then, I guess.
Yeah, that was also my thing, is are they just caretaking for the baby now? Because remember when Laird gave Adam the baby,
well, he just left him with the baby. It was
going to be a permanent thing.
He just left. He didn't even give him the baby. He just left.
Yeah, he's like, I need to chill. Yeah. Here's a baby. It's like, wait, what?
He just walked out.
But we got it all squared away. So thank you for that, Lisa. Thank you for providing some clarity for the boys watching the girls.
I think that's the only time we've been wrong too.
Usually we're 100% correct about every single thing on this show.
Yeah.
Especially our predictions.
I was right about my prediction about this episode, though. Or at least the coffee shop stuff.
Yeah. And this episode, I Love You, Baby, is the season finale. So at the end of the breakdown, we're going to be doing our season-ending likability rankings and some further discussion as well about where we think the show can and will go. But first things first, what I loved about this episode is it's as if we wrote it because each character has their own tidy little story and they don't connect really at all, except for a little tiny bit.
Which is insane for a finale.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was sure Shoshanna was going to meet up with somebody, one of the girls. She hasn't interacted with any of them since the first episode, really.
No. Yeah. We got everybody in their own little world. ensemble is impressive that they can tell a story for 4 characters in a half hour, like 4 separate stories, you know? And there's no interlap. And they're supposed to be, well, they're also supposed to be best friends and shit. Like they just never see each other. Their stories don't intertwine at all.
Yeah, being best friends mean you talk about being best friends. That's all being best friends is.
Well, all right. Who should we start with? I'm guessing Shoshanna.
Sure.
Yeah. So Shoshanna's story starts with a montage of all of the anti-hipster paraphernalia that is now adorning Ray's. There's no real redesign as I thought there was going to be in the last one. They're just like
it wasn't.
It's
I
just
knew
like
it wasn't.
Poster board.
Yeah. I was like, they're going to cut to it and it's just going to be full of people and it's going to be like, wow, Shoshanna, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, except for they spiced it up with a little bit of poster board. There's like it says no, it's like hipster free zone, typewriter free zone, sensible facial hair only. I saw a Romney poster in there.
There was like no man bun sign. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the place is jumping. Like, how would people even know that that's what's gonna be inside, you know?
Like they do mention that she had like a New York Times interview coming up or something. Like they had like a piece in that, so like the advertising could get out. And I guess if people were like, man, I hate how this neighborhood's changing, they would just go to that place. Like obviously I feel like you wouldn't have to put the signs up. You could just have that place across from Helvetica, and if you want Helvetica, you go to Helvetica. If you want Ray's, you go to Ray's. Like, they are 2 separate places with or without the signs. The signs do not change the layout.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going well. There's a buttload of people in there. Colin Quinn is very happy. He's very pleased with the whole anti-hipster thing. In fact, a guy with a man bun tries to walk in, and he's like, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Read this sign, no man buns. And then Shoshanna's like, you can't do that, actually.
I have a lot of issues with that scene. One, he tells Shoshanna to like tone it down. I need you to tone it down, like to the point where she thinks she's getting fired or whatever. And then immediately after telling her to tone it down, a bearded hipster looking guy comes in and he just discriminates against him hard. Yeah. And it's like, get out.
Like eviscerates that guy.
Like it was ugly. Like, get out. We don't he said we don't take your kind here, or we don't serve your kind here. Like he just became like a Gestapo member right there. And that happened while there's a cop sitting at the coffee bar behind him. Like there's a cop there. I'm like, wait, what is happening? Like there's a black cop sitting at the bar of the coffee shop while this discriminatory act is happening, and he's yelling full volume and walking through like, we don't serve your kind. This is a different place. It was weird. Yeah. It just didn't.
His whole vibe is like, especially when he's talking to Shoshanna, is like, you need to tone it down. And she's like, oh, you mean like, you think we've gone too far with the restaurant? And he's like, oh, no. The restaurant or the coffee shop is perfect. I love this. You need to tone your attitude down because you're a very aggressive, in your face, talking nonstop person.
But then he goes and gets super aggressive after that. Like exactly. I was like, wait, what?
Then he just yells at an unsuspecting customer.
Yeah. It was just like such a weird contrast right there of what he was saying and what he was doing. But
yeah. And then far later on in the episode, there's a montage of everybody's story wrapping up, and you just see Hermie and Shoshanna dancing together. And I thought that was going to be really creepy, and it kind of was.
I did too. Did not think this. If you told me that the beginning of Shoshanna's story of Japan was going to be her running Ray's coffee shop with Hermes, I'd be like, what? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know we don't want to talk about the whole overarching thing yet, but that ending was, why are they like, she's met him once and he gave her some advice to go to like Japan. and then she came back, and now they're best friend. Like she doesn't even get a chance to interact with Ray. There's no Ray seeing the coffee shop that has his name on it doing well.
Yeah, it's Ray's coffee.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like doing other shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for Shoshanna. That's what her story is.
That's it for sure. Yeah. She had a story though.
She had a story.
It was exactly like you predicted, where it was just like no remodel. It's just they put up some cardboard signs and be like no hipsters, and then they're like, it worked.
Yeah.
New York Times wants to write an article about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's dance the night away, Colin Quinn.
Basically, they did some marketing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have to rebrand because they were already non-hipster to begin with. So.
Yeah. So who you pick, Vance?
Let's go to Marnie
next?
just because we were talking about Ray. Ray and Marnie are together, right?
Yeah. Yep. So Marnie's scene starts off with her apologizing to Ray that she cannot come. And when I mean come, I mean orgasm.
Elijah was right. Elijah was right. He called it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this was going to be such a story point.
Or that bathroom talking was going to be a story point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's apologizing to Ray. She's like, hey, I'm sorry I can't orgasm with you. I can only really orgasm when I'm having sex with people that I hate, which is something I'm working out with my therapist. And Ray's like, that's okay. I'm going to keep trying. She's like, that's really nice of you.
Like he's like, yeah, I'll still keep having sex with you. Like, I don't care.
Oh, it sucks that you can't come. I mean, I can now. So,
She must have been having the best sex ever with Desi, though.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what kept her in the marriage for so long.
Yeah.
So she gets up to go to the bathroom to pee, and on her way to the bathroom, she casually just kind of slips in that she and Desi are now opening act for the Lumineers, who are a big-time folk group.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, they're moving fucking fast in this band career, dude.
Yeah. Where were the Lumineers in 2016? They were already pretty well established, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were definitely pretty.
It's interesting how Ray's like, oh, I guess that's good. This band. What did he say they sound?
He's like, that sounds like. He said it's like he thought that it was a light fixture or something.
Yeah. Or he said something for your teeth, like veneers, lumineers or something like that.
Yeah.
It was really. Is this where she asked him? Did she ask him beforehand to go on tour with them?
No, it's so she walks to the bathroom, open door, peeing, talking directly to Ray, and she's like, I don't want to be on the road with Desi and Tandis, and it's going to be so annoying if I'm there alone. And Ray's just kind of like, yeah, it's going to suck. And she goes, you should come with me. And Ray's like, I mean, I have work and a life here, and I can't just really up and leave that. And then she's like, oh, come on. And he goes, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like, so-and-so can handle the council meetings. Shoshanna's handling the coffee shop. Sure, I can be the roadie on your tour.
She basically wants him to be her personal assistant because she's like, I need people to get me tonic water and tell me that everything's going to be fine and remember to breathe and all this bullshit. And I was like, Ray, you're going to leave a management position you're just going to up and leave your life to be a fucking kiss ass for Marnie.
And I didn't understand if she was joking about him actually doing that or if she was being serious. Like,
she was definitely being serious.
I would not want to be on tour listening to her and Desi sing love ballads to each other every night over and over again. That sounds terrible. I mean, especially if you're actually going to be a roadie and not be like, oh, we're in a different city. I guess I'll just venture around the city, like, but then
he's basically her puppy.
Yeah. All of it sounds awful. And you're supposed to be the mediator between Desi, her, and Tandis.
Yeah. He knows that he's signing up for that too.
Yeah.
But, he's in love,
Yeah.
He fucking is in love with dude. And like, his acceptance of her was like, how can I say no to that cute face? And I was like, because you have a fucking life and you're a grown-ass man.
Yeah, and like you should say no, this is going to be awful. You guys just got back together. Like nothing can drive a wedge more than you being there. Like I could see if maybe he had like slight jealousy and wanted to be there because he didn't want her on the road with Desi like for that long, you know? Because I will say this.
I'm sure that's a little bit part of it.
It could be a little bit part of it, but it'd be nice for us to see that in his like see that coming across from him. Like he just seems like so like lovelorn that he's just like, oh sure, I don't want to be without you at all. Like
yeah, I'll do anything for my schmoopums.
Yeah, you're a schmoopy. Yeah,
fucking cuck ass Ray.
little teaser for the likability rankings. Ray just dropped.
Oh god. So yeah, and then they agree that Ray's gonna go on tour with them, and then the next thing we see is Desi interacting with some of his fangirls, and I don't know where they are. They're like in the back of. Is it like a rehearsal studio or them packing up their tour bus?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. It seemed like they're packing up their tour bus to go, but not like they're coming from a show. Like maybe they were loading equipment into a place that they were gonna do the first show. Maybe like that's the show that they're doing in Brooklyn that night. Because he hangs out with that girl later. So I guess they're still in the same spot,
It's also the middle of the day, it seems like, too. So, and also, how do these fangirls know where they are?
Maybe, would you do an early sound check? Like if you had a show at Bowery Ballroom or something? Like, I don't know. Yeah. That's the only kind of... Yeah, I wasn't really sure. They're just outside and girls are there.
Yeah. Yeah, Desi's interacting with these fangirls who love him, and ever since they saw him on Charmed, they've been in love with him. And the one girl runs a website called Desmerized or something.
Oh my god! How much time has passed? Like, how popular are they?
That's the thing is, I don't have any scale for how popular they are.
Yeah,
because they had a song on Grey's Anatomy that like happened. Mm-hmm. And now they're opening for the Lumineers. Like they're moving fast, dude.
Yeah, they're doing well. They're doing really well. And I gotta say this: Desi has been on Charmed, One Tree Hill, Broadway. They got mad over spending $300 on pedals. What was that? Yeah. How much? Like he has to have made some money. They have to be able to live in an apartment at least the size of Adam's. At least.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
And also, if he's had a bit role on Charmed, a bit role on One Tree Hill, and was on Broadway, nobody's making fan dedicated websites for that fucking small of a guy.
Well,
you know?
Maybe I don't know. It depends on how much of the run on Charmed and One Tree Hill is, because people are obsessive. So I don't know. I don't know enough. But I'm just saying, if you're at a level where people are making fan websites for you, I feel like you're doing okay.
I wish that we could pull up Desi's IMDb page. Not the guy that plays Desi. Yeah. Desi, the character. I want to know what he's been in.
He's been in everything.
To fucking garner this fervor that all of these girls are like, I fucking love you.
Oh, how great would it be like he can't go on tour because he has to do like, he actually just got signed up. The pilot he went on actually got picked up, so he can't go on tour.
Yeah, he has a spin-off from his Charmed fucking character or something. So Desi's doing that, and Marnie and Ray show up, and Marnie basically lays the law down to be like, hey, Desi, Ray's coming on tour with me. Ray's being like, I'm trying to be cordial. Let's just be chill. And Ray's like, oh, that's cool. And then Marnie's like, well, where's Tandis? And he's like, oh, she's not going to be able to make it because her dad just died suddenly or something. And he's like, oh, okay, so Tandis is out of the picture. And that's kind of where that scene ends.
Yeah, Tandis was fun for a while, I guess. She served her
She was fun
purpose
for
2 episodes.
all 6 minutes of screen time that she got.
Yeah, it really feels like it was building for something. Like, I don't know if like they couldn't get Lisa Bonet back, or if they just really only needed her for that little bit. But it seemed like it was setting up for more, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like his new girlfriend, this new moderator between the two of them, but it was just like, we saw that for like an episode.
Yeah, watching her interact with Marnie was great, because like they're 2 opposite people, you know? Like,
yeah.
So that was going to be really fun to see. But, you know, it's like how we wanted to see Mimi Rose and Jessa go at it, because they're so like aggressive and opposite in their manipulation, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, but so much for that. Her dad's dead, so deuces.
Yeah, and he's like, what happened? He's like, yeah, it's a lot or something. He says something kind of weirdly dismissive about it.
Yeah, dismissive and vague.
Yeah.
He probably killed her or something. She's like dead in a ditch.
And Desi doesn't drink. We didn't know that. So that's something you and Desi have in common?
Yeah, I feel like we might have known that. But
maybe they were going to take, at the wedding, maybe they were going to take champagne or drinks or something. They were taking... Oh, he offered him a beer. Ray offered him that beer that he had.
Yeah. Yeah, because Ray, in this episode, he's like, if you want to crack a cold one at the end of the day and like just hang out, and he was like, well, I'll have a juice.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I believe it was Fran. Who offered him the beer.
Yeah, you're right. Before we get another goddamn correction.
I know.
Vance.
The police are coming after us right now.
I know. Which, we appreciated that email because we were very confused. Yeah. Appreciate all the emails. Dude, the best one, I loved the floor plan of Shoshanna's apartment.
Floor plan was a great one. That was great to get. Still confused.
So please
still confused.
Keep emailing in. Still confused. Keep emailing in.
Yeah.
So anyway, then we skip ahead a little bit, and it's like sound check, and Marnie needs to get into their dressing room because she needs to get her monitors and her shoes and stuff. And the door is locked because Desi's getting blown by the girl who runs the Desmerize website. And they're banging on this door. They're like, Desi, come on. We got to get these shoes. Ray's banging on the door. Open this fucking door. He's about to kick that shit down.
If Ray was Adam, he would be able to get through that door. But I guess he's not.
I know. But dude, I feel like the girl blowing Desi would have been like, hey, I'm going to stop. Like, they're both ignoring him.
She is dedicated. And that is a blowjob that Desi wants. Unlike the one that Hannah tried to give to Ray. That's the difference.
I mean, they're both just like, fuck everybody. Fuck Marnie, the person who's in a band with Desi, and that's why Desi's successful. I need to keep this dick in my mouth.
This is the end of the Marnie Desi's story, right? That's weird. Yeah. It's just so weird that we're ending on Desi getting a blowjob while Ray and Marnie bang on the door. Is it just being like, this is what being on tour with Desi is going to be like? He's going to be a wreck.
Yeah, blown, baby.
Yeah. I'm just like, what? Because Desi, I will say, for all of this... Oh, wait. I just remembered something. Remember when Desi abandoned their, the performance? I think that might have been last season, right?
Yeah, no,
I think it was last season.
Yeah, that might have been the season finale of last season, yeah.
Yeah, it was before, because they were already engaged, and we were like, it's no way they're getting married, and then the next season was like them getting married.
Yeah.
But the last thing we saw last season was him just standing up their, performance, their showcase, and she had to do it solo.
Yeah.
So, you can't trust Desi on this.
The guy's a loose cannon.
I was about to say, at least Desi really cares about the music, so it's weird that he's doing that. No, he doesn't. He's a wild card in not a good way.
He sucks, dude. He sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Marnie's story.
Good job, Marnie. way to get Ray on tour with you, I guess.
Yeah. Who knows? So, Jessa, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, that makes the most sense to have Jessa.
Yeah.
So Jessa is taking care of baby Sample. She's trying to feed it. I guess according to Adam, too big of a bite. Adam comes in and criticizes her baby taking care of skills. And she's like, I don't fucking even want to be doing this, dude. Like, why? Of course I don't know how to deal with a baby. Like, I don't want to be doing this. If you wanted somebody that deals with babies, you should call Hannah. And then Adam's like, why would you even mention her name? Like he's Voldemort or some shit.
Yeah, that was like, I felt like she brought that up to hurt Adam, you know?
Yeah.
But it also came out of nowhere. Like Adam was like being like, hey, don't feed her that big spoonful of food. She'll choke on it. And she's like, oh, she's just spitting it out like normal, like a normal person, which is a weird thing to say about a baby. So Adam just comes over, takes it and starts doing it. She's like, oh, you're going to do it now? And Adam just doesn't say anything because he's Adam. He just starts doing it. And I'm like, yeah, like she doesn't even need to be around when you're taking care of this baby. like I don't know if they're living together at this point. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. And then she brings up Hannah, and that's when everything goes crazy.
This is the thing that I'm confused about. Have they been taking care of the baby since Laird gave it to them like 2 episodes ago? Since Caroline's been missing?
I don't know, because the way it seems like they've been they babysit for a little bit, you know? No, because I think they're babysitting because the way the fast forward, like Laird shows up and he's saying, "Oh, I was able to get like this and do this. I was able to get like protein powder and do." Basically, he was able to run some errands. So I feel like they're just babysitting at that point.
Yeah, it would make sense that they're just babysitting too, because like in the last episode when they come back with groceries, that'd be really really irresponsible to just leave a baby in an apartment.
yeah.
But dude, I wouldn't put it past Jessa for sure.
No, Jessa for sure. Yeah.
But Adam kind of criticizes her. Jessa brings up Hannah, like, oh, you know who likes babies is Hannah. You should call Hannah if you want a baby carer.
Do you remember what she said? She's like, Hannah's always trying to do something to babies. It was some like weird joke.
She said that she's always trying to make out with Frenchum or something.
Yeah.
And Adam gets pissed off and basically is like, why would you ever bring her up? She's like, ugh. So then Laird comes back to take his own baby. And like Vance said, he's like, yeah, I had some time to get some protein powder and some other thing that was weird and very Laird. And Adam's like, look me in the eyes. Look at me. And he looks at him and he's like, all right, here. I guess he was checking to see if he was fucked up on drugs.
I actually love that moment by Adam. I was like, okay, yeah. Like, because he's gone out. Like, we haven't addressed that his sister's missing still. Like, so that hasn't been remedied yet. And so we got to be like, oh, this guy just disappeared. You know, he's a drug addict. Maybe he could just relapse because Adam's an alcoholic, but not an alcoholic, you know? Like, so, but Jessa's in recovery too, so like they know they're all in recovery, so they all know, so they're looking at his eyes and he's like, okay, you're good. And I love they had the matching beanies on, the baby and Laird.
Yeah. When he kept saying like, look at me in the eyes, I thought he was going to ask him a question, and then he just stares at him for like 4 seconds and then gives the baby back to him. I was like, wait, what?
No, I got it right away. He was
just checking. Yeah. So, after they leave, Jessa keeps bringing up Hannah, pisses off Adam, and he says something about like, you know, like she's not part of our lives anymore. Like, why do we need to concern ourselves with her? Like, we're done with that lady. Like, she's out. We don't have to deal with her. We don't need to talk about her. We don't need to see her. Why are you fucking keep doing this?
Yeah, she lives upstairs. We'll never see her. or when we go over to see my niece.
So yeah, she's basically saying, you know, that she's sad that Hannah is not in her life anymore, and she can't just cut her out because that's her best friend, and because they're in the situation that they're in now, she's blaming Adam that she can't see her best friend.
Yeah, basically it's that she has like a weirdly self-aware moment where she's like, oh, Hannah's my best friend. And I know I'm an unlikable person. A lot of people don't like me because I have a great ass and something or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like, but the one thing I'm not a bad, morally corrupt person, right? She tries to like justify that, and then says, one thing I'm not is like a man stealer. I would never steal someone's man. And you turned me into that, Adam, and I'll never forgive you for that. And as I just said that out loud, I just thought about like all the other scenes that we've seen of Jessa from earlier seasons, like when the guy was getting married and she decided to have sex with him out of the window at Shoshanna's place in front of Shoshanna. Kind of
exactly
how like, yeah, she kind of would hook up with married people before. She didn't want to hook up with the babysitting married person, the job she had. She didn't want to hook up with him.
Was she hooking up with Jasper too? Because Jasper's daughter was like, please give me my dad back. And she's like, go fuck yourself.
I think they were just doing drugs together. I don't think they were actually having sex. Every time he seemed to try to make a move, she would always shut him down.
Yeah, that's true.
That one I will say she wasn't having sex with.
She also set Adam up with Mimi Rose specifically so she can steal Ace from Mimi Rose.
Yeah, that was a rough one. That's a hard one to come back from. That's a hard one to start a relationship with the person that did that to you.
Yeah. And now she's like, I am not a boyfriend. Yes, you fucking are.
In her slight defense, Adam was the one that kept pushing it while she kept saying no. Adam was the one that kept stalking and following and pushing the issue. You know, which it seems to be every guy in this show just can't walk away from a troubled relationship. But yeah, I don't know.
So upon hearing this news, Adam decides to wreck shit. He screams, fuck, throws a lamp into the wall, throws something else, and then Jessa out of nowhere starts breaking shit.
Yeah, she walks down the hallway, right? Like she walks down the hallway and you're thinking like she's grabbing her bag to leave. And then she just grabs something else and throws in it like smack. Like the whole apartment is rigged with, seems like it's rigged with stuff to just break. Like, yeah. She goes into the bedroom, grabs something, throws it at Adam, and Adam dodges it. It smashes into something else that breaks. Like a vase or a lamp or something.
Yeah, is this whole apartment made of like ceramics and glass? Like,
it's like if you watch this with like some different music and maybe without all the screaming and yelling, it would be hilarious.
Dude, I also think that this would have been the most fun scene to ever do.
Yeah.
It's like people's fantasy to just break shit. Like, it's fucking awesome. And it all, like, I don't know if there's a skip because they go back to another story and then they come back to Adam and Jessa, but they come back to Adam and Jessa and Adam, like, takes a bike off of the wall and then throws it at Jessa, it looks like, and it wrecks, like, his whole record collection. Jessa takes a bookshelf and topples the entire thing over. Meanwhile, they're screaming. Adam is just, like, screaming, Hannah's a fucking cunt. She's a narcissistic fucking, hold on, I wrote it down. He wrote, she's like worthless, manipulative narcissist. He's fucking throwing stuff. Jessa then gets afraid and goes and runs into the bathroom and locks herself in there. Before we get to the bathroom, there was a line before she ripped down the bookcase. Like, and it is troubling because, like, they're throwing stuff. He actually grabs her at one point and, like, stomps her, and then she stomps her in his foot. Like, it's getting, like, domestic abusey. Like, I'm like, where are the cops? Or, like, some neighbor has to call somebody. Like, it's right, like, dude. If you hear all of that shit, it is sounding awful. And it's actually getting screaming physical too. Yeah, at the top of their lungs. They're screaming at the top of the lungs. Shit's breaking. Jessa tries to actually leave the apartment, and you're right. Adam grabs her. And he's like, you're not fucking going anywhere. And then she kicks him. And he says something like
Yeah, he says something like I'd run over, I'd hit Hannah with a car to stop her or something at one point. And then he's like, she's a cunt, she's a bitch, whatever, she's manipulative. We're done with her. And then that's when Jessa goes over to the bookcase and she pulls the bookcase down. She's like, we'll never be done with her. It's funny shit. It's so funny to me just because like listening to it, like I went back and watched it a second time. It's so funny. Like it's like a reality show where you flip a table and it's like, we're never gonna be done with her. Like just admitting that they're trapped with Hannah forever. And like not in a way like I miss my friend, but like, oh my god, we're in purgatory or hell. Like, I don't know, it's just something funny about
we're tethered to this person.
Yeah, it was just something so funny about her saying that and then slamming a bookcase. Yeah, but then she runs off to the bathroom because after Adam goes to throw a bike, he rips the bike off the wall and goes to throw it at her, or is just going to throw it and there's not enough room for her not to get hit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I mean, it looked like he was directly throwing it at her.
Yeah.
Like, because he has to run across the apartment to get to where he's trying to throw it, and she's just like standing there, and he's charging at her with a bike over his head. Like, are you really going to say that he wasn't trying to hit her?
Well, I mean, at a certain point, he's just throwing anything, anywhere, and like, I think that was the only place he could have thrown the bike. That's the only little bit I'll give him, is that in that place, that was the only place he could throw the bike with any force. But likely, I guess. I don't know. I already admit this was very, like, this is a triggering. If you've been dealing with any type of, domestic issues, like this will trigger the hell out of anybody, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, watching this scene, I was like, this relationship is going to a very dark place. Like, that was so dark and fucked up to watch.
And I was like, like, if Hannah and him were ever to get back together, I was like, how is that going to happen if he feels this? I didn't think he hated her that much, because the way they ended things wasn't as bad. Like, she was like, the last time they broke up, she's like, yeah, I kind of want to date this Fran guy. And he's like, all right, well, thanks for helping me with my sister have the baby. Like, between that, I don't know what she did to him that fully fucked him over. Like, I don't know, but he seems,
All right, so then Jessa runs into the bathroom and locks it. And Adam's like, open this fucking door. And she's like, no. And he's like, open the fucking door. I said, open it right fucking now. And she's like, no, get out of here. And then Adam fucking The Shining punches through the door and sticks his head through just like Jack Nicholson.
100%.
Jess is just like, really?
I loved that reaction. Like, I love that they set that up and it's been chaotic. And she's like, it got to this level. Really? Really, Adam? Like, it's so good.
It was like, isn't this a little cliche? Dude just punched me through a bike at you and punched through a door. Aren't you a little afraid?
It's like, I wasn't afraid at all. Adam's like, I'm sorry I scared you. She's like, I wasn't afraid. It's like, this was just ridiculous that it got to this level. And she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't even think we really brought up how it's, like, we talked about how it started exactly, but like, when he first starts smashing stuff, the escalation is insane. Because when he found out that Mimi Rose had an abortion, he just smashed some stuff off the table.
Yeah, I mean, this one, he just went 0 to 60, like, in half a second. It was wild, man.
And that was all because she said, I will never forgive you for that, even if we're dead in a bed together at an old age. Like, she'll never forgive him for turning her into a boyfriend stealer.
It is weird that she would say that. You know what's fucking bullshit about that thing? It makes it seem like she has no agency herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that Adam was pushing and Adam wanted to be dating her, but if you put all of the blame on Adam, like, go fuck yourself, man. Like, you're guilty as well.
Yeah, it takes two people to do that, you know? Like, she's pushing it and making it all on Adam. Like, okay, you guys both liked each other. You guys both went through it. And you guys could still see Hannah. From what we've seen, it seems like they decided, oh, we're just not going to see her. Like, you could still see her. And I was still waiting for that sit down, talk about it, hash it out. I loved the scene that we got at the end of last episode where Hannah just laughs about the absurdity of it. But we never actually saw them have a talk about it or confront it at all, you know?
Yeah. And we don't in this episode either. What's the conversation after he punches through the door and she calls him? Because I know that Adam starts to talk about something else. I forget exactly what.
I don't know. I was still riding the high of that fight. I don't remember exactly what they said.
Well, I guess it's not that important then. But them during the ending montage going through everybody, we see the apartment smashed to smithereens and Jessa lying bottomless and Adam lying naked as if they just fucked the shit out of each other. They got their passion. All that broken glass and broken apartment, that just means they're passionate about each other. And Jessa's Donald Duck in it, Winnie the Pooh in it, shirt on, no bottom.
And the camera does a slow pull out, and they are in the most awkward staged pose that you could possibly be in for the longest time. Like, no two people are lying in that position motionless for like the
motionless
10 to 30 seconds it takes for that pull out to happen. Like
motionless and silent, like not saying a word to each other.
Oh, and so this is the end of the Jessa Adam thing for this season, and I just can't believe we never saw any of Jessa doing any of her therapy stuff. It gets mentioned like during the yelling, like, "Oh, this is why you'd be a perfect therapist or a horrible therapist because you play with him." I don't know, whatever that was about.
He said that you're going to be a great therapist because you're fucking insane. And then she says, well, you're going to be a great actor because you're a narcissist.
Yeah. So, yeah, you get that. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was wild. It was a wild arc for Jessa and Adam.
Yeah, I guess they're going to be together forever until Marnie ruins it.
Can you imagine? This episode started with them taking care of a baby together and ended with them breaking everything in their apartment and fucking.
You think it's a metaphor? You think it's a metaphor for like, oh yeah, like you need the baby to help be the stabilizing factor of the relationship. Like they wouldn't fight like this around the baby.
No. They should not have a baby introduced to them at all. That fucking dude.
I really did think that she was going to announce that she was pregnant at some point because they kept doubling down on how bad of a mother she was going to be, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. But that is Adam and Jessa. And anything else to add on that bad boy?
No. If something comes up, we'll get it and wrap up. But I think that's really, I mean, it was, I can't believe that was their whole episode, but yeah.
Yeah. Their whole episode. Yeah. God. All right. Let's get to Hannah. Hannah's story starts off, and the episode starts off with Hannah. Hannah's taken up running. She is running down the streets of Brooklyn, and about every 5 to 8 seconds, she's stopping to pose and stretch. And
it's great. It's
very
great,
weird.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It's
pretty
100% Hannah. If she was just running full speed and like, you'd be like, wait, what? How much time has gone past? Like, is it 2 years later? Like, what happened? I just saw her running away from Fran and it looked like she had never moved her arms and legs before.
Yeah. So she's running down the street and she gets to what looks like her apartment, and her parents are sitting on the stoop And she sees her parents and she's like, oh, fuck, I don't want to deal with my parents. And then it keeps running. And the parents are like, Hannah, we know that you saw us. And she's like, I'm in the middle of my run. And the dad's like, no, you're not. We know that you were finished running. You were about to come in, dude. Like,
And then she like makes up a lie about running up and down a block for a mile. Or like I go up and down.
yeah. And then the parents are just like laughing at her, like, there's no fucking way that you do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we're just kind of sad that we want to spend time with you. And she's like, I don't want to spend time with you guys. I don't want to spend time with my dad, who just came out as gay, and my mom, who dresses like Pat Benatar. And she's like, I'm going to go finish up my run.
Yeah, they said that they tried calling her 23 times and she hasn't been picking up their phone call. And then they say, oh, we just want to spend time together as a family. And those two things seem so disparate to me. Because I feel like if my parents tried to reach me that much, they wouldn't be like, oh, we just showed up from out of town just to spend time with you. As opposed to something happened to our child. Are they safe? Like that, they're two different like theories there. Like, how would they be spending time together as a family? Like, she lives in New York, they're in Michigan. Like,
right?
Yeah,
She would have known that they were coming, I feel like, you know?
No, I get like I feel like I don't get what that statement means that they just wanted to hang out. I thought they were, if the both of them came, they had to come there because they felt like something was wrong, you know? And once they see her, they're not like shocked that she's like, they're not surprised that she's out there or at all. They're just like, oh, there's Hannah. Like,
yeah,
she should be, and she is
grab some lunch.
She's accurately shocked because they're sitting on her stoop. Like if you came home and your parents were sitting outside your apartment, you'd be like, what?
Yeah, I'd be like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
That's what I would have thought. If like she does mention like, yeah, you called me 23 times. Don't you think that's a little psychotic? Which is totally fair. Like if my parents called me 23 times, I would feel like maybe something is wrong with them. Like maybe somebody died or something is. And then if I didn't pick up for 23 times, my parents would be like, something's wrong with Joe.
Yeah.
But none of that. They just wanted to grab some lunch.
Yeah.
They wanted to, they drove down from Michigan. They want to, hang out for a bit and then they'll drive back.
Yeah.
Fucking so silly. All right. So the next scene is Hannah's parents have now moved inside and they're basically just saying that they're sad that Hannah doesn't want to spend time with her. And they're like, why don't you want to spend time with us? And then Hannah's basically like, well, you guys are fucking depressing. And then the mom is just like, yeah, you're right. We are kind of depressing.
I felt like this scene was more about, like, the whole thing was about them staying together as a couple and Hannah disapproving of that. And that seemed fine for the beginning of the season. But it seems like this is just wrapping up that beginning of the season stuff. But when the middle of the season stuff happened, you know what I mean? Like it took me a minute to be like, why is she not happy with her parents? And I was like, oh, earlier, like they decided they're still going to stay together. You know, like if this happens, if this happened after they came back from the retreat, the yoga retreat, where she decided that she wasn't going to divorce the dad and all that stuff, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is a carryover. But because we've had so much other stuff in between, I had completely forgotten about the mom and dad and their situation. It didn't seem like one of the things where I was like, I need answers to that question. Like, I need to know where Adam's sister is more than I need to know about Hannah's parents. You know, like, it just seemed like, I don't know. I care more about what's going on with Soup Guy and...
Shoshanna. Scott, the soup guy.
Yeah, is Charlie still floating around the city? Like, what's going on? So...
Yeah. So, they're... Hannah has to make some kind of compromise with her parents where it's like, will you guys get new haircuts or something? Like, you guys are depressing the fuck out of me. And then she reveals that she is doing a storytelling show at the Moth at night, which is like a big kind of open mic storytelling thing.
Yeah, it's very big in New York and LA, right? I don't know if they... I guess they have them in other cities too, right?
Yeah, I know that they do it in LA because I did a storytelling show out here, and a couple of the people out here had done the Moth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But anyway, then this inspires her mom to be like, "Oh, you're going to be doing a storytelling show? What are you going to be wearing?" And Hannah's just got her sports bra on and her leggings. She's like, "I don't know, probably just this with maybe a blazer on top." And the mom is like, "No, you will not be doing that. We need to go shopping."
Yeah, and then it's the mom and the dad are like, they're pulling a Joe's Fashion Corner on Hannah in real life, in real time, and being like, "No,
Yeah,
that's not going to work."
Yeah, thank God they did. Because showing up her outfit wasn't bad for working out, but yeah, that's not appropriate for the Moth.
What was she gonna wear? So like something with a chunk. Like I wasn't really paying attention to what she said she was gonna wear.
So she was gonna wear her sports bra, leggings, and a blazer over top of it. And then I think that she said that she was gonna add like a low heel to it as well. And the mom was like, "No, not at all."
I think she said wedge heel or something.
Yeah. So they go shopping with Elijah, and the mom she's complaining to the mom about how Jessa stole Adam from her or whatever. And the mom is like, "Oh, I had a friend like that, and she stole the guy that I was having a crush on, and then guess what happened to her? She died." And then Hannah was like, "So did you get back with that other guy?" And she was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was just happy that girl died." It's like, wow.
Yeah. She's like, "I don't want this to happen to Jessa, but it's pretty funny, but really dark." Like,
yeah. It was insane. I was like, "God damn, Lorraine." Yeah. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
She was just like, "Oh, I didn't even care about that guy anymore. I just wanted her to die." Fuck.
And that's like really well set up for the end of this episode, and like the Hannah payoff. Like it's really well set up to show some growth. Because there's a great line in here where she's like, "Oh yeah, these are great outfits," and she's like, and the mom's like, "Yeah, these really work for our body type." And then Hannah's like, "We don't have the same body type."
Yeah. And I do want to mention, I said that Elijah was with them when they were shopping. He was not with them. It was just Hannah and the mom.
Yeah, I was, because of my faux pas last episode. You said that, and I was like, maybe he was in the background or something. I was like, I'm just gonna let it slide.
He wasn't, because you know where Elijah was he was going to Hannah's apartment because he needed to wash his bottom half, according to him. And Tad opens the door. And Elijah's like, "Tad, what's up?" Yeah. And it's very clear that Elijah's fucked up on something.
Yeah, he's been out all night, partying it up. It almost looked like he was been up all night crying too.
Yeah, his eyes were all red and baggy. And Tad is like, "Have you gotten some sleep recently?" And he's like, "No, I haven't slept. I haven't." He's like, "Well, when's the last time you went to bed?" He's like, "Oh, Wednesday." And the dad's like, "It's Saturday."
Yeah. And then they have a nice like little heart-to-heart moment there.
Yeah.
And I
guess
guess
they kind of commiserate about, loves and why are we even trying? Who gives a fuck? This sucks.
Yeah. And Elijah has a line of like, "I just feel like giving up." Like he's like, "All these guys suck. We might as well I feel like just giving up." And then the dad is like, "I feel like I'm just starting," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which kind of bookends with Elijah later with the mom.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a thing of like two contrasting points of view, because Elijah's like, "I just want to leave and everything sucks and I just want it all to end." And the dad's like, "I will not give up because I'm just starting. Like my new life is just starting as a gay man. So I'm not even like, I'm jaded as fuck, but not as jaded as you. And I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet."
Yeah, and
when they cuddle each other.
Yeah, we might as well jump to the end with him and the mom, and they're like outside somewhere and like drinking or whatever, and Elijah's being like, I feel like I'm doing nothing with my life. I'm going to do nothing with my life and then die. And then she's like, I feel like I've done nothing with my life and I have no time. I've wasted my whole life. And Elijah's like, I'm going to live for another 80 years and I've done nothing.
Yeah, and I'm going to do nothing.
And I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah, that was a pretty sweet moment too. And then she's like, oh, he said something like, I'm 3 beers away from fucking you. And she goes, well, you are my type.
It's like, yeah, it's something like your type. Yeah, you're like just basing it on like all the gay guys that she's like, or she says you're my type. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're getting a little ahead here because after Tad and Elijah kind of have a little spoon session, a little cuddle session to commiserate together and share hope and all that stuff. After that, we get Hannah, the mom, and Elijah go to the Moth. They all are standing in line, and Elijah has a Joe's Fashion Corner moment where he's like, all these people here are my worst fucking nightmare. And they're in line, and Elijah's like, fuck this, dude. Like, we're never going to get to the front of the line. Let's just butt in front of somebody. And they butt in front of a hilarious comedian whose name is Seaton Smith. Dude, I knew that guy in Washington, D.C. Like, when I was in my first year of comedy, he was doing comedy in D.C., and he was like the shit in D.C. And then he moved to New York, and he was the shit in New York. Dude's fucking hilarious. He was in John Mulaney's sitcom that got canceled after a couple episodes, but Seaton Smith is fucking hilarious. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh shit, Seaton Smith, all right.
I saw him outside, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna have. I was like, I couldn't tell, like, because when this came out, like, if Seaton, because they just pan across all these people, and I recognize him from the John Mulaney show, which I don't think anyone's seen, but also Alternativo, which was this like sketch show on Comedy Central, and he's great in that, and that's a much better showcase of like his ability and stuff. He's done stand up on Conan and like Colbert and like all over. That guy's fucking great. Yeah. But you know what doesn't make sense is, so they pan across and Seaton is behind them. Mm-hmm. And then when they get inside, Seaton's at like way, way, way in front of them. Yep. Continuity error. Yeah, I was very confused by that because I was like, okay, so now he's in front. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But that guy's hilarious. Done a ton of shows with that guy. Love Seaton Smith. Everybody go check him out. But yeah, Elijah butts in front of him. And then he basically calls Hannah and Elijah out for being dicks for butting in front of him. He's like, I care about this. You have no idea. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, I have a podcast.
Yeah, it's like, oh. Yeah, because Elijah not only butts in front, he puts Hannah's name in twice.
Yeah.
And just like, hey, Hannah, I put your name in twice, and then walks away. And she just stands there like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's a big no-no in the open mic community.
Yeah. I would think so. The other two random extras that are behind her just like walk off. Yeah. I was like, what? No, you guys don't. No one seems to care about this. Like, he screamed it full volume throughout the whole place. Yeah.
So then the show starts, and Ophira Eisenberg is hosting the show, and I've actually done a couple shows with her as well.
Yeah, cool.
Which is pretty cool. Let's see how successful all these people I've done shows with are, and here I am doing a podcast.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast about people who have succeeded, you know?
Yeah. But maybe this is our ticket, Vance.
We're like, Shoshanna, you bum, talking about welfare. And we're like, oh wait, she's in 5 seasons of a very popular show.
Yeah. So if you guys want to help out my career, just follow me on Instagram at Joe Elke, please. Support the show, support all the other stuff. I want to be on Girls. I want people on podcasts talking about me. Anyway, so Ophira Eisenberg is hosting the show, and then, we get a montage of storytellers telling their stories, and eventually it gets to Hannah.
Tammy Sager's one of them. She's a writer on the show, and she's like the first one that comes up. And we gotta say, Seaton Smith does get a chance to go up. Because if he didn't, it would really take away from the setup of the whole scene. Like, you really want to pay attention to Hannah's story, but not at the expense of this of the black actor that's trying to perform that Elijah just butts in front of. It would just nullify whatever she said, because they would have cheated their way onto the stage.
Yeah.
So, which is still what they did either way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But good point. Seaton does get to tell his story. And eventually it does get to Hannah Horvath, as Ophira pronounces it. Hannah is going up with Post-it notes, and a guy that she's standing next to is like, "What are you doing? You can't have those." And she's like, "Well, they're my prompts." And he's like, "You can't, you'll be disqualified or something." Like, he said disqualified, right?
Yeah. Something like that, yeah. Or I guess, I guess it's a competition, so, yeah.
Yeah. So she goes up and without her prompts and tells the story about Adam and Jessa hooking up and how it made her feel. And she's saying, like, she's never been a chill person, and if people were to tell her that kind of stuff, she would freak out. But when she first saw them together, she was oddly calm, and it's weird because she can't be herself, but she's not acting like herself. But she's also not, she's pissed, but she's not pissed. I don't know. It's like the conflicting emotions that she was having about their relationship.
Yep.
And the story kind of caps off with her saying, like, I was going over to their apartment with a fruit basket because I wanted to wish them well, because I genuinely do wish them well. But by the time I got to their apartment today, I heard stuff breaking, and I heard screaming, and I heard them screaming about me. And she just left the fruit basket at their door and left.
Well, the point she was making is that because she heard that, the screaming and the fighting and her name in it, that she knew she was free. She knew she was free from that whole jealousy, Adam trap, like all of that. She was fine, she was able to move on from that. So I was like, okay, that works, I guess.
See, I don't know how that would make her feel like moving on.
I think if I heard Adam yelling at the top of his lungs that I was a fucking manipulative cunt bitch, I think I'd be like, you know what? I'm all right. I don't need to go in that room where he's throwing bikes. like if I was just outside that door hearing that conversation, I'd be like, no, I'm good.
See, this is what I'm putting myself in the mindset of Hannah, and maybe she's, she's matured or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I feel like her hearing them fighting about her would make her feel really good. Like, oh, I'm still in their minds. And I don't think that it would be like, oh, I can move on now because I've ruined these two people's lives or whatever.
Yeah, there's one part of that. But I think what they were setting up with that scene in the dressing room with the mom saying that all she cared about was that her friend who had slept with their person was having a bad time. I guess, that could marry to that. Like, she's like, oh, Jessa's now having that horrible time that I had with Adam. So now I'm fine with it. I'm free to move on because, like, I'm not jealous. I think that's what it was. She's not jealous of Jessa anymore. Like, Jessa has what Hannah thought she wanted, and then this is what it is. So she's like, oh yeah, Jessa, you can have that.
Yeah, and it goes back to the last episode with Tally when she said, like, I don't know who to warn who about, as well, because, like, they're both destructive fucking people.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. I guess seeing and hearing that destructiveness coming together and just a big blowout would make her be like, oh yeah, well, what was I fucking thinking? Like,
it's kind
of
like,
I want this.
It's the Fran thing. It's like, Fran, why are you fighting for this relationship that's a mess? And it's like, Hannah, why are you fighting to be with Adam when that relationship is a mess? Like, she's mentioned it a couple times. Like, even that rice pudding episode where she's talking to Marnie. She's like, well, Adam was this way. Adam was weird this way, and Fran's weird this way. Like, both of them are, like, a problem. Like, they're both assholes in different ways. Like, and Adam had been turning a corner-ish, and, like, this rage was... I was like, if that still is in them and can still come out, like, you don't need that. That's a volcano, you know? That's like living at the bottom of a volcano. Like, eventually, something's gonna happen. Like, he was ripping his own place apart.
Yeah. Like, that dude needs to be put away. Like,
it's one thing if he was, like, small and not gigantic and imposing. Like, that's a threat.
Yeah. He is an imposing fellow, man. And so then we have the scene with Elijah and the mom. And interspliced with that is Tad going to the guy who he hooked up with. His house, the guy that he hooked up with several episodes ago, that he was worried about, you know, just going and having sex with a guy, and Hannah had to get his wallet from his place.
Yep.
That sweet guy that we were fans of. So Tad goes back to his apartment, and that he skipped Hannah's storytelling thing for that. Then the mom and Elijah. Then we had the montage of all the other girls and what they're doing. Shoshanna and Hermie dancing. Desi getting blown. And
it's just so funny.
Yeah, it's just like this end of season wrap up is Desi getting blown.
Yeah, it's like and Marnie and Ray banging on a door.
Yeah. Then we get to Adam and Jessa panting on the floor after they just viciously fucked each other. So then we go to Hannah, and she's on the Williamsburg Bridge, right?
Yeah, I think
Looks
it's
like
Williamsburg
it.
Bridge. Yep.
She's on a bridge.
Yep.
And she's walking. She's looking happy because she's told her story. And I think that it did well because in the closed captions I saw that it said 10 because they're judging the stories out of 10, I guess.
Oh, really? Because I thought it was a great decision to not score it. I thought it was a great decision to just be like, okay, she told her story. It doesn't matter where it placed out of the 10 people. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, well, that story got a 6, and you're like, wah wah, or like whatever. I just thought it was great to just be like that. She told the story. The rest of it doesn't matter. Yeah,
the story was the most important part. Yeah. She had to get that off of her chest. But the closed captions ruined that for you because I read somebody said 10. But it could have been an audience member. Who knows? Okay. But she's happy about getting her story told. And then she's smiling, and then she just starts running. And, that kind of wraps up Hannah. And
then they go to that freeze frame. The freeze frame is like...
Yeah.
And that seems to be like a call back to something, but I wasn't sure what. Or not a call back to something, but like a reference. It feels like a movie reference or something, because they don't do freeze frames ever.
Yeah.
You know?
It was corny as hell, dude.
Yeah. I know I brought up on here that I'd watched Sopranos since we started this podcast at some point. And The Sopranos has one episode where they do this really weird freeze frame wipe. Like, and it's just like the most random thing ever. Like, out of the 80 or so, 90 or so episodes of Sopranos, there's like a freeze frame wipe or something in it with the wife character.
Yeah. And that is the end of season 5. Wow. We've got one season left, Vance.
We got a season left and a lot of little surprises for our listeners coming up. So,
indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. So, as we do with the mid-season, at the end of the season, we got to talk likability rankings.
Yeah, we do. I will say this. I am not really sure where I'm going to rank these people. I compiled a little bit of a list of pros and cons, and I don't even know. Really.
Yeah, dude, I have no fucking clue. I feel like I'm going to lay out my list, and then you're going to bring up a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, drop that person, raise that person.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the way it should be. Should we just do the guys first, get them out of the way?
Yeah, who is eligible for the men?
We got Adam, Desi, Fran, Ray, Elijah, Laird, and if we want, we can throw Dill Harcourt in there. Dill Harcourt as an honorable mention, I would say he's fine.
Yeah, he's whatever. You know, he had a revelation, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So at the bottom, and I don't think this is too controversial, at the bottom, I'm going to put Desi.
Yeah. My notes on Desi are the wedding, him being at the wedding and all the stuff he was doing. The music. my notes on Desi are the wedding, the music, the person.
Yeah.
And let's just throw getting a blowjob before the show and just being an overall fuck up.
Yeah, being an overall fuck boy.
Yeah. But I will say Adam in this last episode is really fighting him for that last spot because I can't.
Dude, I was going to say Adam is right above Desi for me. Adam just barely. Just barely though. He had all of this goodwill built up for me for this season and then just fucking tanked it.
Yeah.
like how do you go from being somewhat likable to just being like, oh, I fucking hate you. You're a fucking maniac.
Start attacking a woman. That'll drop you really fast. That'll drop you really fast. Dude.
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we're giving Desi it just for the overall episode, and second half of the season probably would be Adam. If we didn't have the goodwill of like taking care of the baby and like being like genuinely an okay person, little stalkery with Jessa, and he decided to pay for Jessa's schooling, which is super generous. Yeah, but
I wonder if that deal's still on.
That's what I was wondering too. Yeah, I mean, I think it's still on because I think their relationship is still on, but we'll see.
Yep.
I don't know if the relationship. I think it's a money relationship where that'd be weird.
Adam's a sugar daddy for a girl that's his age.
Yeah, but then if they break up, he's like, I'm pulling the tuition.
Yeah. All right. Right above Adam,
Fran.
I'm going to put Fran, I guess.
Yeah. And my note on Fran was... You go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, Fran was a likable guy, but then he just started out of nowhere acting irrationally and out of his own best interest. Like, what we loved about Fran to begin with was it was like he wasn't existing in the world of girls. Because he was like, no, I don't want to go out with you. You're fucking a drama queen and everything that you do is dramatic. Like, I don't want that in my life.
Yeah.
And then he dipped his toe in the pool of girls and then ended up drowning in it.
Yes, that's a good point. It's like how I've said I wanted Hannah and Adam just to stay together so they wouldn't pass on their like craziness to other unsuspecting people. And like that's what happened to Fran. He dipped his toe in, he got with Hannah, and then he's like, now I'm crazy now. Like, I guess I just have to turn into Adam. But before he was just like a random person. Like, what is this? No way. Too much drama. I'm out. Like a normal person.
He was the most regular dude, and then he just got caught all up in this and being like, how come you can't fucking date me? For like 3 episodes.
Yeah. I wrote down, he's a teacher who doesn't learn. Because he started out being like, I dated a girl, she was a little much, I don't want to do it again. Did it again. And then was fighting to stay with it. I was like, man.
Yep. Through the fucking desperation Hail Mary, I love you. while Hannah's packing up his shit.
That's the second time he told her that he loved her. No response. Remember he told her that one time when she was on it, with the nudes on his phone, and they're having sex in a chair, and she's not into it, and he's like, "I love you," and she's like, "Maybe get one of your other girls to love you, your phone girls or something." I mean, there were so many times you should have walked away. So many times.
Yeah. Fran, you're right above Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Right above Fran, I'm gonna put Ray, I think.
Interesting. Not Elijah?
No, because Elijah seems like his intentions are true, especially with Dill. I'm guessing Elijah's number one for me then.
I'm gonna put Laird above Fran.
I forgot about.
Just for the walkout, he's not really low. Like, I understand. Like, he's really not in the show that much. I mean, he could be any one of them. But like the way he just walked out that one day, and like, or just like not saying anything about the sister being missing for 3 days.
Yeah.
Which was like, it's a little much. Not bad. Like, I understand this guy's like going through it, so I'm not really trying to rag on him. But no, I mean, just that. If we have to rank him in this like ranking.
Well, first of all, I need to say I forgot about Laird. I forgot that Laird was in this, but I would still keep Ray above Fran, mainly because, Ray is obviously one of the most likable, sensible people in this show, but his decision making in this pissed me off. Like, he allowed Hannah to blow him, closed his eyes while driving, wrecks his own $50,000 coffee truck. And then the next episode, Marnie, tells him that he should go on tour. And then he's like, all right, I'll leave my entire life behind to be your, fucking flunky. It's like, Ray, you have your own life. Stand up for yourself. Do your own thing. You don't need to do this just because Marnie's like, oh, I don't want to be alone with Desi. That's what makes him unlikable for me.
Yeah, I could see. It's really weird because Ray has become this person that they can just get to do anything for them. He has like how Jessa's like, you made me date you, Adam. It's your fault. Ray has this like, you made me bail you out of jail. You made me come pick you up on 2 hours upstate. You made me do all these things. Yeah, like I could see that, because normally I would think just like, who did the worst thing, how to rank that, who did something good, like actively. But if you're going overall personality level, I can vibe with that a little bit. Because the only thing I really have bad for Elijah is that he cheated at that Moth thing where he put the two things in. Because other than that, like, Elijah helped the dad when he was going through his like coming out phase or stage where he just came out. And Elijah was a bad coffee shop employee. But other than that, he had his heart broken, and I don't know, like, Elijah's fine. Yeah. So I can't argue.
Yeah, Elijah's number one for me. And the reason why I have Laird above Ray is just because, like, Laird doesn't actively do anything bad. Like, bad shit happens to him and he's like, I'm having a hard time dealing with this.
Yeah. The worst thing he did was literally just walk out of a room in an episode, and he might have come back an hour later. So we don't even know. So
we don't know.
I agree with that. I can see Ray put himself in weird situations. Like how we were talking about Fran. Yeah. Ray is the person that knows he's in girls and just keeps driving forward and deeper into it. Like, literally his penis has been in the mouth of 3 of the 4 girls. So like like he is, he's going for that. What is quadfecta? I don't know.
Yeah. So those are, just to recap, my likability rankings. Number 1, Elijah. Number 2, Laird. Number 3, Ray. Number 4, Fran. Number 5, Adam. And number 6, Desi. And what is yours?
I think it's the same. I can agree with that. Yeah, I mean, Adam is really pushing pushing on that Desi bottom, but
Mhm.
for overall, you gotta go Desi.
Yeah.
And he might be
just
he might be back next season. I don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
And now the girls. And this one is hard.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're all horrible people.
Well, at one point when I was going over this, I wrote Marnie first question mark. She was not. But I'm trying to think. So with Marnie, do you think, all right, this is going to be interesting. Do you think Marnie cheating on Desi, who was ranked last, should count against Marnie?
Wait, who did she cheat on him with?
Charlie.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is bad. I just think that Marnie is just such an unlikable fucking asshole.
It is likability rankings, not moral rankings.
Yeah. I just she's one of those people that thinks like just because she's hot she can get away with being like a huge fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about her.
Yeah.
So I think that she would be a candidate for my bottom ranking.
Oof.
But I mean, Jessa came storming. Jessa was number 1 midway through the season, and now she's come storming back.
Yeah,
trying to take the crown.
My Jessa stuff, because at first I had Shoshanna and Jessa flirting around with first, just off the top, and then I was like, so with Shoshanna, she abandoned the soup guy and Yoshi.
She abandoned the soup guy,
which was big.
She cheated on the soup guy with Yoshi. Abandoned the soup guy, then abandoned Yoshi.
Did she abandon Yoshi though, or how did she get back?
She did abandon him because she left him at that restaurant. Remember?
Oh, and then she walked, and then she walked forever.
Yeah, that was the end of her story.
we
hoped
that was the perfect end for it. Just and she traveled through Japan fighting.
Yeah.
And then she tried to go on welfare. She tried to go on welfare for a minute, which was seemed like she wasn't really, but it was just to imply how low and down and out she was.
Well, it was also it could be her first time without a job or any prospect or whatever. So she's like, well, this is what people with fucking no jobs do. They go on welfare or whatever.
Well, she didn't have a job she didn't have a job at the end of the last season, when she was helping Ray with his campaign.
Yeah, that's true.
Her whole personality and character is helping Ray fix shit.
And that's what's really helping her in the likability rankings here, is that she comes back and she takes over Ray's thing and basically helps his failing business become successful.
And the thing she gets from that is a dance with Hermes. Which
I think it might be easier if we went through what likable things that these girls have done.
Okay, I got for Jessa, the likable thing she did was she really helped save that wedding at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
She was trying with the baby.
Yeah, she was trying. She was trying kind of in a weird way to not hurt Hannah's feelings by keeping her relationship secret.
Well, she actually did better by trying not to, for not hooking up with Adam, for pushing him off for so many times,
Yeah. But then she gave in.
I mean, that Adam's a tall drink of psychotic water.
I was going to say, who can resist those charms? Yeah. That fucking guy that almost threw a bicycle at her.
Yeah, that's really the big stuff I have for her. For me, I have in 4th place Hannah. And I think a lot of these rankings come from who had the most screen time, usually,
Yeah.
And for me, her trying to blow Ray and being flippant about the truck that she ruined was...
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Was like and then flashing the principal, which apparently didn't matter. It still rubbed me the wrong way. And then she cheated on Fran with the yoga instructor. Whether or not you want to care about that, it's like it's still something. She deleted all of Fran's nudes.
When I asked you what likable things each of the girls have done, I was thinking of Hannah when I asked that question, because I was like, what has she done that is likable? What are your pros for her this season?
What are my pros? Not hitchhiking, not ruining Fran's summer. What did she do?
She told us she got back into writing, I guess.
Told
a story.
Her bonding with Tally, but like that's not really anything.
None of this is getting her out of the basement. Hannah's the least likable person.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, she had a fine arc. It just had a lot of speed bumps along the way and a lot of detours down alleys you should not go down. But yeah, no, I don't. What was it like? The wedding? She was fine at the wedding.
Yeah.
I thought she was really good at the wedding.
Yeah.
I thought everyone was okay at the wedding except for Marnie.
Yeah. I would put Marnie above Hannah, I think, in number 3.
Just for likability, I'm going to say, yeah. You could make an argument for her, Marnie, not being so low, but if we're just going to go, she's getting the Desi treatment. She's getting the feeling. It's all on the feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like watching her. It's like I don't even like watching what she's doing on screen anymore. I'm just like, I'm done with you.
Allison Williams does a great job of being unlikable in that way, though. It's really good. Like she plays like she's playing the hell out of that role.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would give Marnie a positive for the gambling when she's scamming as a escort.
Oh, when she's a hooker?
Yeah. Just and scamming a bunch of money and being like, I'm rich.
Yeah. Yeah, if that's the positive, maybe she should be kind of like 4A, 4B.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Like, this isn't a show where everyone just does these great, grandiose things, you know?
See, I was happy when she and Ray got back together, but immediately she lost all of that when she's like, hey, come be my personal assistant. And Ray's like, okay.
Oh, that's when she lost it? Not when she says, I love you, but you're not the right person, and it can't be happening.
Yeah.
Immediately
I can't believe
to his face.
I can't believe it's you. Yeah, it shouldn't be you. I shouldn't be in love with you. And then the next time we see her, she's like, I can't come. Can't come unless it's somebody I hate.
Why did she just brush his hair or something? Like that worked for her dream.
Yeah.
For her love dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And she was really rude at that play when she came in. It's like,
can we have a tie at the bottom for Hannah and Marnie?
Hannah's definitely way lower than Marnie. Are you kidding me? Trying to blow Ray in the car and just being like, whatever, you just lost 50 grand. Like, yeah, come on, no. Yeah, and then no.
Okay,
Hannah's solidly in the 4.
Yeah.
Not to say we hate her, but she's just at the 4 in the ranking.
Yeah. And then I would guess I would put Jessa above those two.
Yeah. I would put Jessa there just because of this episode where she's kind of passing the buck a little bit. Where she's like trying to blame Adam fully for them being in a relationship that you went into this. Like, I know she's feeling Jessa's feeling guilt about it and being self-aware about certain things, which is a good step forward, but she hasn't really crossed over, you know?
Yeah. Maybe she hasn't gotten to that textbook yet because Hannah interrupted her to get rice pudding.
Yeah, that was the next chapter.
Yeah, she was just about to get to that self-awareness part, but she had to go get rice pudding with Hannah.
Yeah.
And then I guess at the top is Shoshanna. And I want to make it clear that, once again, none of these girls are likable. They've all been doing really fucked up shit this season.
Yeah, Shoshana stuff I feel like was a more of a product of them flipping her character back and forth. Like either she didn't like Japan or she did like Japan.
Yeah, who knows, man.
But I want to say, like, I think these are our rankings, right? Shoshana 1, Jessa 2, Marnie 3, Hannah 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that that's out of the way, I want to go overall a little bit. It's a little disappointing to see. It's a little disappointing to see that we don't get to see Shoshana being one of the girls dealing with like the girls type issues that they were dealing with the first couple seasons, because that's what it was building towards. And then she goes to Japan, and she's in Japan, and it's that story, as opposed to like seeing her in New York trying to living their life and being like, oh yeah, it's going to be super easy. Oh, it is hard. Like she says it, but we never get to really see it and play out. And now she just has Ray's. She skipped over all the stuff that Ray did to get a coffee shop. And now she's running a coffee shop. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
she never gets her comeuppance for being such an asshole to all the girls. Like the girls never get their, I don't want to say revenge, but they're like, hey, see, it wasn't all that easy.
Yeah, and we
don't ever get that moment.
And we don't get to see it from like a whole different perspective of like Hannah and Lena Dunham having grown up and seen stuff and then being like, oh yeah, this is what us looking back and seeing, like this is how it would be later for someone graduating. Like someone graduating from college now is going to be different than when I graduated or you graduated. So it's like, oh, we could see a whole new thing, but instead she just literally chases after Ray and just like does those things, and it's like she ended up in the same spot, and it's like I want to see her like rise and fail, but when she's in Japan it's a whole different ball game. Like she's already done more than most people straight out.
Yeah, I mean it's wild, dude. It's kind of also disheartening that a show called Girls makes all of the girls like so unlikable. Like the only likable people in the show are the guys, in my estimation.
I mean, because Jessa got number 1 ranking last season. So I mean, I feel
the mid season, I think.
Oh, mid season, yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like they're unlikable but entertaining in a way. Like you wouldn't watch It's Always Sunny and be like, oh, they're likable. You know, like I'll just say it's always interesting to watch them. And a lot of the stuff, especially with Hannah, and we brought this up in other episodes, it's those 1 or 2 moments that just derail you. Like even in this episode, we don't need Elijah double dipping into the open mic box. Like, now that gives us a negative feel about her going up, because it seems like she cheated to get on stage. Like if you don't have that and her name gets called, then I can just focus on that. You know what I mean? There's always this one thing that kind of like takes away from the weight that they want you to focus on, because you're like, what a horrible thing you did to get to this. And that's what I thought last episode was really well, because it had none of that. It had none of that like, oh, this is throwing me off, so I can't really focus on the point you're trying to make.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that last episode was probably her most likable moments, where she's just kind of talking with Tally and commiserating, and they both have their own reasons for being miserable, and it's just interesting to see like the grass is greener type of thing going on. Yeah. But so those are the likability rankings for season 5.
And we have a now. Did you want to bring that up?
Yeah, no, you can go for it.
Well, we have a post on the subreddit Girls, and we had a listener write in that say that they thought that this would be the perfect series finale episode.
instead of just a season finale, they thought that this episode was a perfect end to the show.
And
they
that
shouldn't
this
go
did
on anymore.
Yeah, and that this did a really good job of having Hannah. They loved Hannah's arc in this season. And I'll say her arc to get her back to writing and to get her back to being okay with Adam and Jessa and like being able to move on. It does feel like she's like ready to just move on to do something completely like how like the dad's like, I got a new beginning, and the hitchhiker's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a fresh start. It seems like they're like, hey, let's just start all over, you know? Yeah. So I like that. It's just those little speed bumps, like I said, that she hits along the way where you're like, ugh. But yeah.
Yeah. As I was watching this, I was thinking about that comment about, this would be a perfect end for the show. And I don't feel like it is a perfect end. If anyone had a good ending, it would be Hannah, I think, because, she's re-inspired or reinvigorated to be creative, which is what she started out with and what she really wants to do. But everybody else, I feel like we don't get a satisfying conclusion or closure about any of their stories or where they're going or what's happening. Like, could you imagine if this ended and the last thing we see of Marnie is Ray slamming on a door while Desi's getting blown?
That's exactly my thought. I was like, there's some stuff that's great. And one, the girls are never together in this episode, which was almost strange for a finale. Would be even weirder for a series ender, I feel like. And this ending, when you mentioned that Judd Apatow was one of the writers on it, has a similar ending to the one, I think season 2 maybe, where they're all walking. It's like all like love stories, like they all get back together and everybody having a happy walk away ending mostly. But this one is strange because I don't think the series girls Shoshanna's story should end with her dancing with a character that she met once before. Like her dancing with Colin Quinn should not be her swan song for the series. I don't know if this was meant to be a series ender or not. I don't know if they didn't know if they were going to get picked up for another season. So I'm not 100% sure. Like Hannah's story ends but
yeah, like I said before, I think that the only person whose story, if this was the last episode, the only person whose story I'd be satisfied with would be probably Hannah. And I think that's what the commenter brought up, right?
Yeah. And I think the dad story of him going to to see that guy works. I think Elijah is tricky because I don't know where he's supposed to be going. And he seems like he doesn't know where he's going, but he's talking about that with her parents. So I don't know if that's a satisfying ending for that. The Jessa Adam ending it's not what I want. It leaves me feeling, I don't know how to feel about that ending, actually.
Yeah, me neither.
Like I'm kind of happy that there's another season to kind of see what came of that. Yeah, and I also would love to know what's up with Adam's sister. Just really want to know what happened to Adam's sister, because you bring that up and that's big. Like if you can't,
she's suicidal and missing.
Yeah, if you can't get the actress to come back or anything, like you can definitely pull the Charlie move and just have a character talk about him off screen, talk about him,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me personally, my opinion is I'm glad that this isn't the series end. I am glad that there is a season 6 because I hope that there's some closure and some further answers. And I'm not ready to let go of the girls, Vance.
Not ready to let go. I really don't think Desi getting a blowjob is the way that I want Marnie's story to end. Or Ray's story to end with him being a roadie banging on a door.
Yeah, that would be so depressing.
If that's the end, then that's the end. But yeah, wow, right?
Yeah. Well, all right. That is season 5, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. This is a longer episode than usual, but I wanted to thank you guys. If you have any questions or anything, you can feel free to email us, boyswatchinggirlspodcast@gmail.com. Also, our Instagram at BoysWatchingGirlsPodcast. Also, we don't do this often, but please, if you're on listening to this Apple podcast, rate and review this bad boy. I think we got like 20, and I know that we got loads more listeners than just 20 people. So if you could please do that, that'd be awesome. And stay tuned for season 6. Should we preview the season 6 episode, Vance?
Give them the title. Let's do it. Oh yeah, we gotta do some predictions.
Tease.
What do we think's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen in season 6? All right. I think that Desi and Marnie are going to break up the band, and Marnie's going to go solo, and Ray is going to be her manager.
Huh. Ray was into music at one point before he got in a coffee
he was in a
game.
band with Charlie. Yeah.
Before he got in the coffee game.
So I think that also, no, I'm not going to say that. Anyway, Hannah finally writes. She gets in contact with the people that she had an ebook deal with, and she actually writes the ebook, and it leads to her getting a bigger book deal because it's such a well-received ebook.
I think she's past ebook. She's going to get the book deal because the 2 years will be up. That's what it was. It was 2 years on her. They had that other company had the rights for 2 years, and the company that she went to where everyone was laughing, they wanted the books. They wanted to do a real book, like a book that you could read. So yeah. I think that's gonna happen.
All right, Jessa. What is Jessa gonna do? Jessa's gonna complete her schooling as a therapist and then start taking clients. But I think that she and Adam are gonna break up. Because he has to hook up with Marnie.
Yeah, I think Shoshanna's going to become a crazy business person and try to sell Rays to some corporate, to like Starbucks or something, and then spin it off and just kind of climb that corporate ladder somehow.
Yeah, she's gonna be a marketing / sales guru.
She's gonna do some stuff that just ends up killing Hermes. Yeah, because he's been living a lot longer than he's supposed to.
I know, right? It made it seem like he was going to die in season 2.
I thought he was going to die this episode. I was like, this seems like they're leading to something, Like normally there's a death or something in a finale. There's the death, a wedding, a baby.
Yeah, like he just collapses from a heart attack while he's dancing with Shoshanna.
That would have been insane. And Ray's on tour, banging on a door for Desi, while his mentor and former friend and boss is just dead. And Ray's. Oh.
All right. Well, we'll see if any of that comes true in season 6, where the first episode is titled All I Ever Wanted.
Yeah, I think it's a book deal. That's all she ever wanted.
All right.
I think it's a book deal.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in season 6. Later.
I have a podcast. I care.